Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something that separates dreams from reality, potential from achievement, and failure from success. That one thing is discipline. Talent may open the door, intelligence may show the path, and motivation may give a strong start, but only discipline carries you all the way to success. Discipline is the quiet force that keeps you moving forward when excitement fades and obstacles appear. It is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. We live in a world full of distractions. Comfort is celebrated, shortcuts are glorified, and excuses are easily accepted. In such a world, discipline becomes rare. Discipline is waking up early when others are sleeping. It is choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. It is saying no to distractions so you can say yes to your goals. Success does not come overnight. Behind every successful person, there are years of consistent effort, repeated practice, and countless sacrifices. What keeps a person going during those years is not luck or motivation. It is discipline. Discipline builds habits. Habits shape character, and character determines destiny. Discipline also teaches responsibility. It makes us accountable for our actions instead of blaming circumstances, people, or bad luck. A disciplined person understands that success is not something to be wished for, but something to be worked for every single day. Every single day. Most importantly, discipline creates freedom. At first, it feels hard and restrictive, but over time, it gives confidence, self-respect, and control over life. And that's when you discipline your time, your mind, and your actions. Success stops being a mystery and starts becoming a result. So remember, motivation may start the journey, but discipline finishes it. If you want to succeed in life, don't wait for the perfect moment. Build discipline, stay consistent, and success will follow you naturally. Thank you. Thank you. Discipline is more powerful than talent, luck, or motivation because it is the only quality that remains stable when everything else fluctuates. Talent is a natural gift, but without discipline, talent stays unused, undeveloped, and often wasted. Many people are born with intelligence, creativity, or physical ability, yet only a few rise to the top. The difference is not what they were given at birth, but how consistently they worked on what they had. Discipline takes raw talent and sharpens it through daily effort, practice, and repetition. Without discipline, talent becomes a source of arrogance or comfort, making a person rely on what comes easily instead of pushing beyond limits. History is full of examples where highly talented individuals failed while ordinary people succeeded simply because they showed up every day and did the work with discipline. Luck is even more unreliable than talent. It may create opportunities, but it cannot sustain success. Luck might place someone in the right place at the right time, but discipline determines whether that opportunity is used or wasted. A lucky moment without discipline quickly turns into regret. Discipline prepares a person long before opportunity arrives. So when luck appears, they are ready to act. Without discipline, luck fades quickly and success collapses as fast as it came. Disciplined individuals do not depend on luck. They create their own chances through preparation, effort, and persistence. They understand that luck favors those who are consistent, focused, and willing to work even when results are not visible. Motivation is powerful, but it is temporary. It comes and goes depending on mood, environment, emotions, and circumstances. Some days motivation is strong, and on other days it disappears completely. If a person depends only on motivation, progress becomes unstable. Discipline fills the gap when motivation fails. It does not ask how you feel. It demands action regardless of emotions. Discipline teaches a person to delay gratification, understanding that short-term discomfort leads to long-term rewards. Without this mindset, people become trapped in immediate pleasure and regret future consequences. Discipline also means acting even when emotions are not supportive. There are days when motivation is low, confidence is shaken, and progress feels invisible. In such moments, emotions encourage avoidance, procrastination, and excuses. Discipline ignores emotional excuses and focuses on duty. It does not wait for a right moody or a perfect time. Instead, it recognizes that progress is built through action, not feelings. A disciplined person understands that emotions are temporary, but commitments must be honored consistently. Choosing discipline over comfort requires self control. Self control is the ability to say no to impulses that offer instant satisfaction but damage long term goals. Every time a person resists temptation and does what is necessary, their self control grows strong. Over time, difficult tasks become manageable, and discomfort becomes familiar rather than frightening. Discipline reshapes the mind to accept effort as normal instead of something to avoid. This mental training is essential for handling responsibilities and pressure in life. Discipline also demands honesty with oneself. It requires acknowledging weaknesses, accepting shortcomings, and taking responsibility for improvement. Many people avoid uncomfortable truths because facing them requires effort and change. Accepting shame. Discipline forces a person to confront reality instead of escaping it. Another aspect of discipline is consistency during hardship. Life is unpredictable and challenges are unavoidable. Stress, failure, criticism, and rejection can easily discourage effort. Discipline ensures that necessary actions continue even during difficult times. It keeps a person focused on process rather than outcomes. When results are delayed or setbacks occur, discipline maintains momentum. This steady commitment during hardship often determines who succeeds and who gives up. Discipline also teaches patience. Many necessary actions do not produce immediate results. Learning, building, improving, and growing all take time. In a world obsessed with quick results, discipline allows a person to stay committed without instant rewards. It trains the mind to trust effort rather than demand immediate success. And this patience strengthens resilience and prevents frustration from stopping progress. Doing what is necessary often requires sacrifice. Time, comfort, energy, and sometimes relationships must be balanced carefully. Discipline helps prioritize what truly matters over what feels good in the moment. It encourages saying no to distractions and yes to responsibilities. These sacrifices are not signs of loss, but signs of commitment. Over time, they create stability, achievement, and self-respect. Discipline also builds inner strength. Every uncomfortable action completed strengthens confidence and belief in oneself. A disciplined person knows they can rely on their own effort, even when conditions are unfavorable. This self-trust is powerful. Challenges and increases courage to pursue bigger goals. Comfort weakens the mind, but discipline strengthens it. Ultimately, discipline transforms discomfort into progress. What begins as difficult becomes routine, and what feels impossible becomes achievable. By repeatedly doing what is necessary, a person develops control of their actions and direction over their life. Discomfort becomes a tool rather than an obstacle, and effort becomes a habit rather than a struggle. Success requires consistency because meaningful results are never created by one-time effort or occasional hard work. Progress is the outcome of repeated actions performed over a long period of time. Discipline is what turns intention into consistent behavior. Without discipline, effort becomes irregular, strong one day and absent the next. With discipline, actions continue regardless of mood, circumstances, or temporary setbacks. Consistency is not about intensity, it is about reliability, and discipline is the force that makes reliability possible. Many people work hard when they feel inspired, but stop when enthusiasm fades. This cycle creates frustration and slow progress. Discipline breaks this pattern by establishing routines and habits that operate independently of emotions. When actions are tied to discipline instead of motivation, they become automatic. A disciplined person does not debate whether to act. They follow a system. This system allows progress to continue even on difficult days, ensuring that effort does not depend on how one feels at a given moment. Consistency also compounds results over time. Small disciplined actions may appear insignificant on their own, but when repeated daily, they accumulate into powerful outcomes. Studying a little every day builds deep understanding. Saving small amounts regularly creates financial stability. Practicing a skill daily leads to mastery. Discipline ensures these small actions are performed consistently, allowing growth to compound quietly and steadily. Without discipline, these small opportunities for progress are lost, and potential remains unrealized. Discipline helps maintain focus on long-term goals. Many goals require months or years of effort, and during that time, distractions and obstacles are unavoidable. Consistency is difficult when progress is slow or invisible. Discipline keeps attention on the process rather than immediate results. It trains the mind to value daily effort over instant success. This mindset prevents discouragement and impatience from interrupting progress. Consistency through discipline also builds trust in oneself. When a person repeatedly follows through on commitments, self-confidence grows. They begin to see themselves as reliable and capable. This internal trust is essential for taking on bigger responsibilities and challenges. In contrast, inconsistency weakens self-belief and creates doubt. Discipline restores confidence by proving day after day that effort will be given regardless of circumstances. Discipline also creates structure, which supports consistency. Structure organizes time, energy, and priorities. A disciplined routine reduces decision fatigue by eliminating unnecessary choices. When actions are planned and scheduled, consistency becomes easier to maintain. This structure protects progress from chaos and distraction, allowing steady improvement even in busy or stressful conditions. Consistency also builds resilience. There will be days when results are disappointing or progress seems stagnant. Discipline ensures that effort continues even when outcomes are uncertain. This persistence through difficulty strengthens mental endurance. Over time, disciplined consistency trains the mind to accept challenges as part of the process rather than reasons to quit. This resilience is essential for long-term success. Discipline also helps recover quickly from mistakes. Inconsistent people often abandon effort after a failure. Disciplined individuals, however, return to their routine without overreacting. They understand that consistency matters more than perfection. Missing one step does not end the journey. Abandoning discipline does. This balanced approach prevents small setbacks from becoming permanent failures. Another important aspect of consistency is identity. Over time, disciplined actions shape how a person sees themselves. When someone consistently works, learns, and improves, they begin to identify as disciplined, focused, and committed. This identity reinforces behavior, making consistency easier to maintain. Discipline thus creates a positive cycle where action strengthens belief and belief strengthens action. Consistency supported by discipline also creates momentum. Each completed task makes the next one easier. Progress builds upon itself, reducing resistance and increasing efficiency. Momentum makes effort feel lighter and more natural. Discipline initiates this momentum and keeps it moving forward, even when external motivation is low. In the absence of discipline, consistency collapses under pressure, distraction, or fatigue. Goals remain unfinished, and progress remains uneven. Discipline is what anchors effort to routine, ensuring that work continues steadily. Through discipline, consistency becomes a habit rather than a struggle, and success becomes the natural result of repeated, focused action over time. Discipline helps overcome distractions and excuses by training the mind to stay focused on priorities instead of reacting to impulses. In everyday life, distractions are everywhere. Phones, social media, entertainment, unnecessary conversations, and constant notifications. These distractions steal time, energy, and attention, often without being noticed. Discipline creates awareness and control over how attention is used. A disciplined person does not allow every sound, message, or urge to dictate their actions. Instead, they decide in advance what deserves focus and what must be ignored. Excuses often appear when tasks become difficult or boring. The mind naturally looks for reasons to avoid effort, such as lack of time, tiredness, fear of failure, or waiting for better conditions. Discipline challenges these excuses by emphasizing responsibility over comfort. It teaches a person to question their reasons for delay and recognize when excuses are simply attempts to by repeatedly acting despite these excuses, discipline weakens their power and reduces their influence over behavior. Discipline also creates boundaries, which are essential for minimizing distractions. Setting specific times for work, rest, and recreation prevents activities from overlapping and competing for attention. When boundaries are clear, distractions lose their ability to interrupt important tasks. A disciplined routine protects focus by giving each activity its proper place. This structure helps the mind remain calm and organized rather than scattered and overwhelmed. Another important role of discipline is the ability to say no. Many distractions come from external sources, invitations, and expectations from others. Without discipline, people often say yes to everything, spreading themselves thin and losing focus on their own goals. Discipline provides the strength to say no when necessary without guilt or hesitation. It allows a person to protect their time and energy, understanding that every yes to a distraction is a no to progress. Discipline also reduces internal distractions, such as overthinking, self-doubt, and emotional reactions. These mental distractions can be more damaging than external ones. A disciplined mind learns to acknowledge thoughts without being controlled by them. It focuses on action rather than endless analysis or worry. By staying committed to routine and process, discipline limits the time spent on negative thinking and redirects attention toward productive effort. Toward productive effort. Excuses often thrive in inconsistency. When actions are irregular, it becomes easy to justify skipping effort. Discipline eliminates this weakness by creating non-negotiable standards. Certain tasks are done daily, regardless of mood or circumstances. This removes the need for constant decision-making, where excuses usually arise. When a task becomes a habit, excuses lose their relevance because action becomes automatic. Discipline also strengthens willpower over time. Each time a person resists a distraction or ignores an excuse, their self-control grows. What once required great effort becomes easier with practice. This gradual strengthening of willpower allows a person to handle increasingly difficult challenges without being derailed. Discipline thus acts as training for the mind, building endurance against temptation and avoidance. Another key aspect is accountability. Disciplined individuals hold themselves accountable for how they use their time and resources. They measure progress, reflect on their behavior, and correct mistakes instead of justifying them. This honesty prevents excuses from becoming habits. When accountability is strong, excuses have no place to hide and distractions lose their appeal. Discipline also helps clarify purpose. When goals are clear, distractions become less attractive. A disciplined person constantly reminds themselves why their effort matters. So this sense of purpose strengthens focus and makes excuses feel insignificant. When the reason is strong enough, resistance becomes manageable. Discipline reinforces this connection between daily actions and long-term goals. In an environment full of noise and temptation, discipline acts as a filter. It decides what deserves attention and what must be ignored. By consistently choosing focus over distraction and responsibility over excuses, discipline ensures that energy is invested where it truly matters. This control over attention and behavior is essential for steady progress and meaningful achievement. Habits formed through discipline shape character and future because repeated actions slowly become part of who a person is. Character is not built in dramatic moments. It is built in ordinary daily choices that are repeated consistently. Discipline ensures that the right actions are performed again and again until they become habits. Once an action becomes a habit, it no longer requires constant effort or decision-making. And it becomes automatic. And over time, these automatic behaviors define a person's character. Every habit sends a message to the mind about identity. When a person consistently practices discipline, waking up on time, completing tasks, keeping promises, managing time responsibly, the mind begins to associate these actions with self-image. The person starts seeing themselves as responsible, reliable, and focused. This self-perception influences future decisions and behavior. In contrast, undisciplined habits such as procrastination, avoidance, and inconsistency create a character marked by unreliability and self-doubt. Discipline determines which version of character is developed. Habits formed through discipline also influence values. What a person repeatedly prioritizes becomes what they value. If discipline is applied to learning, growth, honesty, and effort, these qualities become deeply rooted. Over time, they guide decisions even without conscious thought. This is how discipline shapes integrity and moral strength. A disciplined person does not need constant supervision or pressure to do the right thing because disciplined habits have already shaped their inner standards. The future is directly influenced by habits because habits determine how time is used. Time is the most limited resource, and disciplined habits ensure it is invested wisely. Reading regularly builds knowledge. Practicing skills builds competence. Saving consistently builds financial stability. And maintaining healthy routines builds physical and mental strength. These outcomes do not appear suddenly. They are the result of disciplined habits quietly working in the background over years. An undisciplined use of time, however, leads to regret, missed opportunities, and unrealized potential. Discipline also shapes emotional character through habits. Habits! Consistently managing reactions, controlling impulses, and staying calm under pressure builds emotional maturity. These habits help a person respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Over time, this emotional discipline creates stability and confidence. People with such character are trusted, respected, and often chosen for leadership because they demonstrate reliability and composure in difficult situations. Another important aspect is that disciplined habits reduce dependence on external control. When habits are strong, behavior does not depend on rewards, punishments, or supervision. The individual becomes self-directed. This independence is a sign of strong character. Such people take initiative, fulfill responsibilities, and remain committed even when no one is watching. Their future success becomes more predictable because it is guided by internal discipline rather than external pressure. Habits formed through discipline also affect decision-making. When discipline is practiced daily, it strengthens judgment and clarity. A disciplined mind is less influenced by temptation, peer pressure, or emotional impulses. Decisions are based on principles rather than convenience. Over time, this leads to wiser choices that shape a stable and successful future. Poor habits, on the other hand, weaken judgment and lead to repeated mistakes that limit growth. Discipline ensures that improvement becomes continuous rather than occasional. Disciplined habits encourage reflection, learning from mistakes, and adjusting behavior. This creates a growth-oriented character that evolves with time. Such individuals do not remain stuck in old patterns. They refine themselves through consistent effort. Their future becomes one of progress rather than stagnation. Habits also influence relationships, which play a major role in shaping the future. Discipline in communication, honesty, listening, and respect builds strong and lasting relationships. People are naturally drawn to those who are consistent and dependable. These relationships open doors, create support systems, and provide opportunities that shape life outcomes. Disciplined habits, such as unreliability or emotional inconsistency, damage trust and limit future possibilities. Over time, disciplined habits create alignment between goals and actions. Many people have ambitions, but few align their daily behavior with those ambitions. Discipline bridges this gap by turning intentions into routine actions. This alignment strengthens character because the person becomes someone who lives according to their values and goals. The future then becomes a reflection of consistent effort rather than unfulfilled dreams. Ultimately, habits formed through discipline act like a blueprint for life. They quietly direct behavior, influence choices, and determine outcomes. While talent and circumstances may vary, disciplined habits ensure steady growth and reliability. As these habits strengthen character, they shape a future marked by confidence, responsibility, and sustained success. Disciplined people take responsibility for their actions instead of shifting blame to circumstances, luck, or other people. Responsibility begins with the understanding that one's choices, habits, and efforts directly influence outcomes. Discipline trains the mind to accept this truth without denial or excuses. Rather than reacting defensively or avoiding accountability, a disciplined person reflects on their actions and looks for ways to improve. This mindset creates growth, while avoidance of responsibility leads to stagnation. Taking responsibility requires honesty, which is often uncomfortable. It means admitting mistakes, acknowledging weaknesses, and recognizing when effort has been insufficient. Discipline builds the courage to face realities without self-deception. Instead of justifying failure or blaming external factors, disciplined individuals ask themselves what they could have done better. This honest self-examination is essential for progress because it turns mistakes into lessons rather than repeated patterns. Responsibility also means understanding that outcomes are not random. While external factors may influence situations, discipline focuses on what can be controlled. A disciplined person concentrates on effort, preparation, attitude, and consistency rather than wasting energy on things beyond control. This shift in focus creates empowerment. When people stop blaming circumstances, they regain control over their actions and decisions. Discipline reinforces the belief that improvement is always possible through effort. Disciplined responsibility is closely tied to reliability. When individuals take responsibility for their commitments, they follow through on promises and obligations. They do not disappear when tasks become difficult or inconvenient. This consistency builds trust with others and strengthens self-respect. People who accept responsibility are seen as dependable because they do not avoid consequences or abandon duties. Discipline ensures that responsibility is practiced daily, not just when it is easy. Taking responsibility also improves problem solving. When blame is removed, attention shifts to solutions. Disciplined individuals analyze situations objectively instead of emotionally. They ask what went wrong, why it happened, and how it can be prevented in the future. This constructive approach leads to improvement and efficiency. Avoiding responsibility, on the other hand, keeps problems unresolved and allows them to repeat. Responsibility also extends to time management. Disciplined people take responsibility for how they use their time. They do not blame lack of progress on being busy or distracted without examining their priorities. They plan, schedule, and evaluate how their time is spent. This accountability ensures that important tasks receive attention. Over time, responsible time management leads to productivity and progress. Discipline teaches responsibility for emotions and reactions. Instead of blaming others for anger, frustration, or disappointment, disciplined individuals recognize that reactions are choices. They work on emotional control, patience, and composure. This emotional responsibility strengthens relationships and decision making. It prevents impulsive behavior that can damage reputation and opportunities. Another important aspect is responsibility for learning and growth. Disciplined people do not wait for others to teach them everything. They take ownership of their development by seeking knowledge, practicing skills, and correcting weaknesses. They understand that growth is a personal duty. This proactive attitude allows them to adapt and improve continuously, regardless of external support. Responsibility also influences leadership. Disciplined individuals naturally earn leadership roles because they do not avoid accountability. They accept both success and failure without shifting blame. When outcomes are positive, they credit effort and teamwork. When outcomes are negative, they take responsibility and work towards solutions. This balanced approach builds respect and authority. Taking responsibility strengthens self-respect. Each time a person admits a mistake and works to correct it, confidence grows. Discipline ensures that responsibility is not avoided out of fear or pride. Over time, this practice creates inner strength and maturity. A disciplined person trusts themselves because they know they will face consequences honestly rather than escape them. Responsibility also shapes long-term success. People who blame external factors remain dependent on circumstances. Disciplined individuals who take responsibility become self-directed. They adjust strategies, refine habits, and persist through challenges. This adaptability allows steady improvement and long-term achievement. By consistently taking responsibility for actions, choices, and outcomes, discipline transforms setbacks into opportunities for growth. Okay. Instead of being controlled by circumstances, disciplined people become active participants in shaping their own lives. This ownership over behavior and results is a defining trait of lasting success. Discipline turns long-term goals into daily actions by breaking large ambitions into manageable, repeatable steps. Long-term goals often feel overwhelming because they seem distant and complex. Many people know what they want to achieve in the future, but they struggle because the path feels unclear or intimidating. Discipline provides clarity by shifting focus from the distant result to the immediate action required today. Instead of being consumed by how far away the goal is, disciplined individuals concentrate on what must be done now, this hour, or this day. Long-term goals fail when they remain abstract ideas rather than concrete plans. Discipline forces goals to become practical. It transforms who want to be successful into specific daily behaviors such as studying, practicing, saving, improving, or working consistently. These small actions may appear insignificant, but they are the building blocks of major achievements. Discipline ensures that effort is applied regularly, turning vision into routine. Daily action removes the pressure of perfection. Many people delay starting because they believe they need perfect conditions, complete confidence, or full motivation. Discipline eliminates this delay by prioritizing action over readiness. It teaches that progress comes from showing up consistently, not from waiting for ideal circumstances. By acting daily, discipline creates momentum, and momentum reduces resistance. What once felt difficult gradually becomes easier through repetition. Discipline also protects long-term goals from emotional fluctuations. Emotions change frequently. Some days bring confidence and excitement, while others bring doubt and fatigue. If actions depend on emotions, long-term goals suffer. Discipline separates commitment from feelings. It ensures that daily actions continue regardless of emotional state. This consistency is essential for goals that require months or years of effort. Discipline acts as a stabilizing force that keeps progress steady even when emotions are unstable. Turning goals into daily actions also requires prioritization, which discipline provides. Daily life is filled with competing demands, distractions, and responsibilities. Without discipline, urgent but unimportant tasks consume time, leaving little space for meaningful progress. Discipline trains the mind to identify what truly matters and allocate time accordingly. It ensures that daily actions align with long-term objectives instead of being driven by convenience or impulse. Discipline also builds patience with the process. Long-term goals rarely produce immediate results, which can lead to frustration and doubt. Discipline helps individuals trust the process by focusing on daily effort rather than immediate outcomes. Each completed action becomes a small success, reinforcing commitment. Over time, these small successes accumulate, creating visible progress. Discipline allows individuals to stay engaged even when rewards are delayed. Daily disciplined actions also create accountability. When goals are broken into daily tasks, progress becomes measurable. A person can clearly see whether effort was given or avoided. This visibility encourages responsibility and honesty. Discipline prevents self-deception by making it obvious when actions do not match intentions. This accountability strengthens commitment and reduces procrastination. Discipline also transforms habits into allies of long-term success. of long-term success. When daily actions are repeated consistently, they become habits that operate automatically. Once habits are established, less mental effort is required to maintain progress. Discipline is most important at the beginning, when resistance is high. Over time, habits carry the effort forward, making long-term goals sustainable. This is how discipline creates lasting change rather than temporary bursts of effort. Another important aspect is adaptability. Long-term goals often require adjustment as circumstances change. Discipline supports flexibility without losing direction. Instead of abandoning goals when plans fail, disciplined individuals adjust their daily actions while staying committed to the larger objective. This balance between consistency and adaptation allows steady progress despite challenges. Discipline also strengthens belief in achievement. Each day of consistent action reinforces confidence that the goal is achievable. Progress may be slow, but it is undeniable. This growing belief fuels further effort, creating a positive cycle of action and confidence. Without discipline, doubt grows because action is inconsistent. With discipline, belief grows because effort is visible. By transforming distant goals into daily actions, discipline removes overwhelm and replaces it with clarity and control. The future stops feeling uncertain and starts feeling manageable. Each day becomes an opportunity to move closer, step by step, through intentional and consistent effort driven by discipline. True freedom and confidence come from a disciplined life because discipline gives control over one's actions, choices, and direction. Many people believe freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want. In reality, this kind of uncontrolled freedom often leads to chaos, regret, and dependence. Discipline creates a deeper form of freedom, the freedom to choose wisely rather than impulsively. When a person practices discipline, they are no longer controlled by habits, emotions, distractions, or external pressure. This control becomes the foundation of genuine confidence. A disciplined life removes dependence on circumstances. When actions are guided by discipline, a person does not wait for perfect conditions, approval, or motivation. They act based on principles and commitment. This independence creates confidence because the individual knows progress does not rely on luck or mood. They trust their ability to show up, put in effort, and stay consistent. The self-trust is powerful and cannot be shaken easily by failure or criticism. Discipline also frees a person from guilt and regret. Undisciplined behavior often leads to unfinished tasks, broken promises, and wasted time, which gradually damage self-esteem. Discipline, on the other hand, aligns actions with values and goals. This alignment creates peace of mind and quiet confidence. There is no need to pretend or prove anything, because effort has already been given. Confidence grows through repeated, disciplined action. Every time a person follows through on a difficult task, resists temptation, or stays committed despite discomfort, belief in oneself increases. Confidence is not built through words or positive thinking alone. It is built through evidence. Discipline provides that evidence daily. Over time, a disciplined person develops a strong inner voice that says, I can rely on myself. This belief is unshakable because it is based on experience, not hope. Discipline also creates freedom from fear. Fear often comes from uncertainty and lack of preparation. A disciplined life includes consistent learning, practice, and improvement, which reduce fear of challenges. When a person is prepared, they feel capable. This preparedness leads to calmness and confidence in difficult situations. Discipline does not eliminate fear completely, but it prevents fear from controlling decisions. Another important form of freedom created by discipline is financial and emotional stability. Disciplined habits in spending, saving, and working reduce stress and dependence on. Disciplined emotional control prevents impulsive reactions that damage relationships or reputation. These forms of stability give a person confidence to make choices without desperation or pressure. True freedom comes from not being trapped by poor habits or emotional instability. Discipline also frees a person from constant comparison with others. When someone is disciplined, their focus shifts inward toward progress rather than outward toward competition. They measure success by effort and growth, not by external validation. This internal focus builds confidence because self-worth is no longer dependent on others' opinions. A disciplined person knows their value because they know their work. Confidence created by discipline is quiet and stable. It does not need attention or approval. It comes from knowing that challenges will be faced with effort and consistency. Even when outcomes are uncertain, disciplined individuals remain confident because they trust their process. This calm confidence allows them to take risks, handle failure, and continue forward without losing direction. Discipline also creates freedom of choice in the long term. Consistent effort creates skills, opportunities, and stability. These outcomes provide freedom to choose better careers, healthier lifestyles, and meaningful paths. Without discipline, options shrink over time. With discipline, choices expand. Living a disciplined life means being in command rather than being controlled. It means choosing growth over comfort and responsibility over impulse. This control produces confidence that is not loud, but deeply rooted. True freedom is not the absence of rules, but the ability to direct one's life with purpose. Discipline provides that direction and turns confidence into a natural result of consistent, intentional living. Discipline is not a one-day effort or a temporary phase. It is a lifelong commitment to growth and responsibility. It shapes habits, strengthens character, and turns ordinary actions into extraordinary results. While talent may attract attention and motivation may create excitement, only discipline sustains progress when challenges arise. Those who choose discipline gain control over their time, their choices, and ultimately their future. Success is never accidental. It is built quietly through consistent, disciplined effort. When discipline becomes a way of life, success stops being a distant dream and becomes an inevitable outcome.